once again tell everyone that we actually also run the test program, the standardized tests and the English proficiency tests. The standardized ones are the SAT and the GRE. The GRE is for graduate students, the SAT is for undergraduate students. The proficiency tests, anyone at all can actually enroll in it. And it helps a lot increase your funding opportunities, your scholarship opportunities. It helps you also get an assistantship. Yes. People may ask if it is important. It is. Even though if you don't have it, you still have the chance to study outside. It also increases your chances of getting these kind of opportunities outside. So please phone in. Let us be of help to you, of an assistance to you in all these processes that you may want. And again, we help with all the applications, anything at all you want to know about studying abroad, with inquiries, with consultancy, with booking a visa for you, paying for your service fee, with coaching you for your interview, getting to the country of choice, settling for school, and then talking to your designated student officials. So please stay tuned as we are still admitting people into start admitting right away. Just stay calm as we start as soon as possible. We are still trying to admit a lot of people in. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you very much. I think what happened was that I did not add a Zoom link. A lot of people are asking me for the Zoom link. So what I'm doing right now is that I'm sending the Zoom link to everyone. So if you have friends who are not able to join, please, we are going to put a Zoom link in the group chat so everyone can join. Please, we are going to put a Zoom link into the our broadcast, into our groups so that everyone can join, because right now I just put it in, I see a lot of people joining. So sorry again for this. We try to make sure we get everything done. All right, my brother Zidane, are you here? Zidane, are you here? Please, if you are here, let me know you are here. If you can hear me too, please put yes in the chat box. Please, if you can hear me, put yes or type yes in the chat box. Thank you very much. If you can hear me, please put yes in the chat box. Okay, I see. Yes, yes, yes. Great. Zidane, please, if you are here, please let me know. Zidane. We are also live on YouTube. So please, in case it gets to a point where the Zoom link, the Zoom room is full, please join us on Zoom. Okay, in case the room is full, please join. Via and you can join us, please. In case you are not able to join again, please join via our Zoom link. Okay, please, just in case the Zoom room is full. Zidane, please, if you are here, let me hear from you. All right, everyone. So we are now ready to start. We are waiting for Zidane, our guest for today, to join. He was also having some little bit of difficulties, but as we wait on him to join, please, if you have not been asked to talk, please mute yourself. And please note that when it's time for question and answers, you have to raise your hand and then we will let you in. Again, you have to raise your hand and then we will let you in. Very, very important that we have to follow all these rules. My brother Zaidan, if you are here, please let me know.
Now, we about 60,000. I mean, I'm Jim Pamino now. Get the first I but okay.
All right, so guys, please, there is no password to join. Please just click on the link. I'm sorry that the broadcast that I sent, I did not include the link. So Cornelius, please send everyone the link and then they can join. Please join using the link. Again, in case you cannot join, please, we are also live on Zoom. Mr. Zaidan, are you here? Please unmute yourself if you are here.
Hello, is it good evening, everyone?
Yeah,
or
good
good
evening,
afternoon, everyone, or good morning, everyone.
Everything works, both wherever you're joining us from. It's good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah.
Zaidan, do you mind showing your video so our crew can
Definitely
know whoever we are talking to?
Definitely.
So please, okay, thank you very much, sir. All right, so please give a little bit of introduction about yourself and then we can just zoom in to this conversation.
All right, my name is Zaidan Mohammed. As you mentioned earlier on, and I'm a Ghanaian, of course. I did my undergraduate in Ghana and had my master's degree in India. So I was in India. From India, I came to the US. Yeah.
Okay.
For my PhD.
Can you tell us the name of the schools you are attending or the schools you attended?
Well, for undergraduates, it was University of Cape Coast, where I studied BSc Psychology. From University of Cape Coast, I went to India for my master's at University of Mysore. From my master's, I think I went to Ghana between 2008 and 2018 and 2019, then went back to India in 2019. So I was in India for my research. During that period, I got funding that I came for my PhD here in the US.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Also, Zaidan, can you talk a little bit about your experience in India as a student before we move on to other aspects, just getting to know you more? So,
well, that is a very good question. I think I have spoken about it a bit with you in relation to my experiences. Well, for the most part, I would say it is kind of of a different culture, especially when you compare it with other countries. So kind of India more generally is kind of more of a collectivistic kind of culture where they tend to kind of do things on their own. In a way, it's different from Ghanaian culture in so many ways, especially, I don't know, maybe whether it has to do with the number of international students in India or whatever reason it is. When you compare international experience in India, you realize that it is not on the similar level compared to other countries. For example, my experience in U.S.A, I will see a huge difference. Though it's not, we might not want to conclude whether it is bad in India or whether it is good in India. Maybe it has to do more with the level of international students in India compared to other countries, or more generally, the number of international interactions in India compared to other countries. So kind of, they are not of the same level for the most part. So yes, Indian experience, maybe it's a necessary experience. That is what I would describe it, because kind of it will give you a sense of what other people or other culture view students from other background. But bringing it down to experiences in US, you realize, as I mentioned earlier on, it's vast. There is a vast difference between the two. You can't compare the two. Yeah. Hello?
Want to know, I'm getting questions here. What
Yeah.
influenced your decision to study in the US and not do your master's, your PhD in India? Because you're already in India, you've already done your master's in psychology. So why didn't you further your studies in India, but you decided to go to the US?
Very good question. I think for every decision, everyone has to have a reason to make that decision. I think for the most part, it has to do with my mission and vision or what I want to achieve through my PhD. So I realized that the support system that I need to kind of be able to navigate and be successful in my research work will be better supported in this institution compared to Indian contexts. In my case, the reason why I'm saying in my case is that probably you might be fortunate to find yourself in an Indian institution where it will equally support your line of research or inquiry. In that case, it might be better for you. But more generally, for the most part, I think in my case, it has to do more with personal decision and professional decision, because I kind of need more exposure in areas where I am lacking when I was in India. Yeah.
Okay. Right now, let's move on to, studying abroad in the US. What really clicked to you when you arrived in the US? What are some of the things that your funniest moment in the US? What was something that you were like, your aha moment, something that was like very new to you, something that really hit you when you got here? Just take us through your journey from, do you fly from Delhi or Mumbai, Bombay, which airport did you use?
Well, so, okay, let's pick it up from the point of, okay, we'll come back to the visa, but let's start with my departure. Generally, my itinerary was kind of a
Okay,
mix.
yeah. All right, let
Yeah. Yes. Can you come again?
Yeah, let's start from it. Yeah, I can hear you. Let's start from, you've gotten your I-20, that process, because I remember we've talked about this. I remember you reaching out to me about your service fee. So let's start from service fee. Right now, you've gotten your I-20. What was the process?
Yeah, so generally, like with international students in India, generally, when you get your I-20 and you are supposed to do some transactions, usually, in my case, I was not having international cards, which I can do, which I can be able to do international transaction. So I either have to fall on either Indians or somebody who has kind of those means to make those international transactions. I think that is where we started communicating and most of what I was not clear about. So with the payment of service fees, of course, you paid it for me and I kind of gave you the money. So it was that easy. But when it comes to the visa, unfortunately, it was a period where visa slots were very difficult to come by because of the pandemic, I suppose. So we have to sometimes wait. I hope it will not repeat itself. Sometimes we have to wait in the middle of the night, 3, 2, waiting just to make sure that maybe you've gotten a slot to book an appointment. Fortunately, as things begin to kind of subsidize, we were able to kind of get slots to book our appointments and got the opportunity to attend the visa. But I think what is really important about the whole issue about visa application and all other things, it has to do with the kind of offer you've gotten. Everything has to boil down to what kind of admission or offer the university has offered you. That will determine largely the nature of how your interview preparation will be structured. Fortunately, for my part, I was fortunate to get full funding, in which case my documents or the documents that I'm supposed to kind of prepare for the interview was kind of not much, but because I wasn't sure, I tried to make sure that I have every single document that maybe might come to my mind. Bank statements and everything. I think I spoke to you about it. Yeah, but fortunately, when I got to the interview, because of my funding and other things, the counselor or the person who interviewed me did not ask of anything relating to my bank statements. I think I spent less than 1 minute because when I got there, she asked me. In fact, I was very nervous because I saw a lot of people queued and interviewed for more than 10 minutes, 7 minutes. So I was asking, what specifically is he asking them? So, but fortunately for me, when I got there, maybe because of the funding of my I-20, she asked me the program I'm going to pursue, the purpose. I just said it. Then she said, your visa is approved. She did not even look at my bank statement or whatsoever. Less than 1 minute. So that is why I'm saying when it comes to the interview, for the most part, it has to depend on the type of offer you've gotten from the university and your documentation. Yeah. So after the interview and everything, the visa was ready. I have to book flights. So I booked flight to UK, Heathrow University. I think it's a connecting flight from New Delhi to Heathrow, from Heathrow to JFK, from JFK to Burlington. So that is how we kind of navigated around the world because of the pandemic. Yeah. Then we got here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing. I just want you to share your experience in the interview room. You talked about some people being in the interview room, some people you were a little bit nervous. What did you do to calm yourself down before we come to talk about the scholarships? Because a lot of people are sending me messages, Doc, is he going to talk about the scholarships and all that?
Yeah. So very good question. what made me nervous and what calmed me down. As a matter of fact, when I was waiting for my turn, I noticed one counter who was kind of a bit faster than my counter, because my counter, I think she asked a lot of questions. I nearly moved from my lane to go to the other counter. I nearly, almost lane, because maybe that person was not rigid in his interview. So his line was a bit faster than where I was standing. But something told me, if I move, she'll see me. And if I move, he too will see me. So maybe the question that they will be wondering, why did I move? I can't answer that. So because of that, I just maintain my composure and try to calm myself down. After all, whatever happens, happens. If they make a decision that goes in favor of me, fine. If it doesn't, fine. Life goes on. So I kind of try to accept whatever outcome, but making sure that I give the best of myself, like in terms of whatever question they ask me, and knowing very well that I have the necessary documents that probably they might be requiring. I remember my file was huge, thinking that they might ask this, ask that. I think the most important thing is to make sure that you rule out every other possible ways of not being able to answer what they ask of you in relation to your movements, your itinerary, not your itinerary per se, like your purpose and mission for the program and the university. You have to have everything handy and every information handy. And preparation too is very important. You might not want to say that, oh, you have the documents, so you will just sit down and relax. You have to try and like write some possible questions that they might possibly ask you and practice over those questions. Like, if possible, write the responses, practice over it, like kind of structure your responses. You might not want to go and start thinking of what kind of responses you are giving now. You have to have an idea of response in your mind if you are asked of a particular response in a particular kind of, or on a particular question. I think preparation is very important. Yeah. Even if you have the necessary documents, you have to kind of try to answer a lot of questions for yourself. Because for the most part, those are the questions they will ask you. And they might not go beyond certain limits, apart from your purpose for going for the school and the program.
Okay. So before we move on, someone has sent a message that please, can you ask Zaidan, the person said he knows you and he greets you and he wants to know if your visa was valid before going for your interview in India.
Well, that is a good question. You know, sometimes my visa was valid. Yeah, my visa was valid. And even as at now, still my Indian visa is valid. But what happened is, I think this is a very good question. Usually, I don't know whether they've checked it, but usually they might not want to see kind of a sense of desperation on the part of the applicants. For example, if you are in India, I don't want to think for them. But what I am thinking is that if you are in India and maybe your visa expired, what they might want to ask is, why are you still in India? Right? So you have to have a genuine reason for your stay in India. Right? Because usually there are certain legalities surrounding staying beyond your stay limit. So that one I might not be in a good position to answer that. But in my case, my visa was valid as at the time I applied.
Okay. All right, Zidane. One question that someone said I should ask you is that, what are some of the questions that students were asked when they went for their interview? what are some of the questions that you had the visa interview or the visa officer asking students? What were some of the questions that students were asked?
Yeah, so it's like what I've heard is one of the among the questions I've heard, because some of the students, I noticed some of them truly did not have full funding, because some of them provided their maybe bank statements, either their family or some, yeah. So they were able to provide those documentation, and some of them were granted visa, even though they did not get full funding. So I think among the top question is why the university, why the program, and what is like your source of finance? Why the university, why the program, and who will support your funding, and how credible that source is. I think those are the major top questions that I can recall. But as I said, in my case, it was very brief. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Another question that someone also wants me to ask is, okay, hold on. Let me. How many percent of scholarship did you get? What was your percentage in terms of your scholarship?
In my case, fortunately for me, it's 100%. Yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
All right. So take us through. Right now, you've arrived in the U.S. You said you crossed. What are some of the challenges that you encountered when you arrived in the U.S. and how did you solve them?
Well, I think my first kind of turnaround, it was at JFK. JFK, I was supposed to kind of move some of my bags to the next flight. But what I have not realized is that at JFK, there was a point where when you move out, like I think it's kind of generally applies to most airports. If you go out, you will not be allowed to kind of come in. So unfortunately, I left out with one of my bags to go and kind of join the next flight.
Wow.
So they did not allow me to go back. That means they told me they will check the bag again because they don't know the reason why I left the bag. So I have to leave the bag with them. I think I received it in the 3 days time because they say they have to investigate what is in the bag. So my advice is that whenever you are moving, like if you are doing a transit, and if you know you are kind of changing flights where you have to take your belongings, you have to make sure that everything is with you. Don't leave everything behind. Yeah. So yeah, I think that is one of the experiences that was not okay, but it wasn't much of a problem because there was nothing in the bag. Yeah. So assuming you are changing flights maybe from one airport, you have to make sure that everything is with you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. So one question that I have here is, can you please talk to us more about the types of scholarships in your school? What are some of the types of scholarships in your school?
This is a good question. And I might not want to generalize everything to everyone. I think for the most part, it has to do with the program of your study or your area of research and also your department. Because we can have a general departmental funding or a general school funding. And also it has to also do more with kind of your qualification. So kind of everything goes on each other or everything falls on each other. So you might not want to generalize it to everyone, but what I do know is that based on each and everybody's qualification and area of research or program of interest, most of the cases, each school or each department have some source of funding. But again, it might vary from one person to another. For example, you can have somebody having 100% funding, while somebody in the same department might have less of it. So you might not want to generalize. So it has to do, as I mentioned earlier on, maybe your academic standing, your departments, and other relevant factors or parameters. Yeah.
Okay, good. So another thing is someone wants to know what program are you doing and what is your specialization?
Currently, I
So,
am.
Go ahead.
Currently, I am doing biobehavioral psychology or experimental psychology. Essentially, what we do is that we do research on mice, like to kind of understand certain psychological and behavioral phenomena that cannot be explained directly using human participants due to research limitation and ethical considerations. You know, it's not every research that you can directly kind of do on humans due to ethical considerations. So we use rodents, specifically in our case now, we use rats to kind of understand behavioral and neuro kind of physiological aspects so that we can infer what might be in humans. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So another question is, what does your scholarship cover? They want to know, what does your scholarship cover? What kind of scholarships do you have? Does it cover only tuition? Does it have housing? Does it have stipends? What kind of scholarship?
I think in my case, one thing that must be clear is that the university will never give you housing. Like when you come, they assume that you are responsible for whatever type of housing you want. So the money that they will give you, they will make sure that it covers everything that you need. For your tuition, they will take care of it. But for the money they will give it to you, you will decide which accommodation you want and how you will manage your expenses. Yeah. So in my case, the university did not say, go for this housing or go for that housing. I chose the kind of housing I want and how I think I can manage my finances. But for the tuition and other things, the university pay for it. They will give me my money. I will decide my accommodation and my living expenses. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing that aspect. I don't know if you touched on this, but someone is asking. My question is that how much do you need in your pocket before leaving your country after your ticket? Did you have any specific money in your wallet, or how much did you carry with you?
I think again, it has to do more with who you are or what the kind of support you have and your preferences. So in my case, when I was coming, because I have not started the program yet, the money did not hit my account. That means I have to try and find my own accommodation, like temporary accommodation with my own money, right? Before I will settle down, do the registration and other things. So that arrangement is kind of definitely dependent on you and your preferences. If you prefer a particular lifestyle, then that will determine the kind of money you have or you will need. And also, it's also depend more on the specific geographic location you are going. You might be fortunate to have yourself in an institution where the geographical area is easy to have or to get accommodation at a cheaper cost.
Right.
In which case, you might not need much, you only need, that is for the first time. So you will only need what might kind of be able to support your maybe first, that is if you have funding, maybe your first month on your own, based on your personal preferences. And in my case, honestly, I did not think much about it because I try to ensure that whatever I'm going to kind of do is within my means. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So the questions are coming. Please, right now, today, we don't want to be here for too long. We are just here for an hour, maximum of an hour and 30 minutes, because our brother here is a PhD student. That does not mean that today we are only talking about PhD student. We are looking at undergrad, master's, and PhD. So another question to you, my brother. Which country are you studying?
Which country? I'm in the US.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So another student said, please, do you have to gain admission to a specific university before applying for scholarship? After answering this question, I'll also answer it from a different fold. So please answer this question if you wouldn't mind.
Do you have to have?
Do you have to gain admission, like from your point of view, from your experience? Did you get admission before applying for your scholarship or for your funding?
Well, I will say it depends on the school for the most part. But in my case, it kind of goes hand in hand, in which case I don't have to do separate applications. But what I do know is that in some schools, you have to do the two at the same time. You have to apply for the program and apply for funding. But in my case, it's only one application I did and it covers everything.
Okay. All right. So I don't want you to touch more on this, but just a little bit, In terms of your funding, did they assign the funding to you, or did you actually get it from a specific supervisor?
This is a very good question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the reason why I said the funding sources can be multiple in the same university. We have generalized school funding, and also have departmental school funding. So I would describe myself as departmental funding, in which case my department is funding my everything. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another question is, please, my question is, can you change the course the school gave you?
Can you change the course the school gave you?
Yeah, from our point of view, let me answer this question. Maybe you can also add your experience.
All right.
So my brother actually went to, when he arrived, the program they gave him was the MBA Human Resource Management. But when he came and we had a very good conversation about the trend in terms of currently, the most important thing that a lot of institutions are looking at, or companies are looking at, people with diverse skills, especially in IT. So my brother also coming in, I made sure that I educated him to let him understand that it's imperative to have a skills in IT now, in this current generation. So if he can do Master of Science or MIS, Master of Information System, with a concentration in business analytics, that would be super fantastic for him to consider that aspect. So he went to the school and then they changed it for him. Also, I worked at one of a university here in the US, where when students come, we allow them to change their majors as well. But I don't know from your university, do they allow that? I know mostly masters and undergrad is easy, but from the perspective of PhD, I know it's really tough. It's going to be really, really hard for you because, for example, for me, I was given my funding as a doctoral research assistant from my department. If I'm leaving my department, that means I'm losing that funding. I'm losing that scholarship as well. I'm also gonna lose some benefit that I was also enjoying, like my office that was given to me, which is fully finished. I need to leave that office. But as an undergrad, I know students that arrived here with business. They decided to do computer science, nursing, pharmacy, or pre-pharmacy. It was easy. But for PhD, if I was supposed to leave my PhD program, that means I'm losing my office with all the facility, all the amenities that comes with it, all the technology that comes with it. I'm also losing my scholarship, and maybe I might not even get a chance to join that other department that same year. But from your perspective, please share your story or your side.
Yeah, I think I perfectly agree with your opinion. And I think for the most part, it's easier, especially when you are in undergrads or maybe sometimes masters. But what I do know is that it's kind of a bit complicated, especially when you are doing PhD. What I know is kind of a bit flexible is when you are changing advisor at a PhD level. It might be easier to change the advisor, but for changing the program, okay, let me put it this way. When you accept a PhD, I'm talking from the PhD perspective, then I will bring it down to maybe from the PhD perspective, it is assumed that you are an expert in a specialized field where you kind of come to join everything. So if you are changing, it means you are changing everything. So it's kind of complicated at the PhD level. But what I do know happens is that it might be easier it might be easier to change your advisor. And also that one is not easy. But for undergrad, as you said, it might be easier to change maybe your program. Yeah, maybe it will be more flexible when compared to the other higher level of study. But anything is possible anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for this answer. Please, at this point, you can mute yourself and ask your questions. At this point, also, please, if you've not joined our WhatsApp platform, this is a very good avenue for you to join. And also, please, if your interview is due, Cornelius will be working on all your documents. So Cornelius, please let them know how to reach out to you and how we can start processing their document if they have not started reaching out to us. Cornelius, please unmute yourself and let them know before we go to the question and answers. Please, if you have not reached out to us, or we have not reached out to you, most of you who are going in April, we've started reaching out to you. We've sent you all the documents that you need to read, and also get yourself prepared, the video that you need to watch, and prepare yourself for the visa interview so that you don't get there and be nervous. Although nervousness, you might be prepared, you still get there and you might be nervous. Please, Cornelius is the one who will be working on all your documentation, from booking an interview date for you, filling the visa application forms for you, and getting you all the documents. And then you go to either Accra or Kumasi or our Takrady office to pick up all your documents. And then you also have to meet with me one-on-one on Zoom so we can go through the questions and answers to make sure that you are well vexed and prepared for the visa interview. It is very important, as our brother said, that when you are going in, there are some questions they will be asking you, that why this university, why this program, who is sponsoring you. It is very important that you need to do and tackle these questions right on the head. Okay, right on the head. I had a student who also, one of our clients, she had a full funding to study chemistry. And then when she went in there, they wanted to find out why chemistry upon all these programs in the world. Why specifically do you want to do chemistry? Why not even biochemistry? Why not pharmacy? But why do you want to do this program? So Cornelius, please, can you let them know how they'll be able to reach you so you can pick up from when they reach out to you and get them prepared for the interview. Isaac will be coming back to you very soon after Cornelius has talked about getting ready
Thank you
for the
very much,
interview.
Mr. Bowachi. I think for most people, they don't really know that the Takari offices will be in like operation very soon. So you can talk a little about it. But in the meantime, we'll drop the address very soon to all our clients in Takari who would want to reach us through our office and our office line. So please stay tuned. We'll just watch this space very soon. We'll just drop the address, the location of the place, and everything for the people in the Western region or in Takrady who can easily have access to us. So yes, with the documentation and stuff, it is very
And the
important.
Liberia office too.
Yeah, the Liberia office. Very soon, there are lots of things, big things coming our way, and then they'll get to hear of it very soon. So for the documentation and stuff, what we normally do is that as at the moment, we are trying to get all the list of all the people who will be going for their interviews as soon as possible to clear up a lot of backlogs that we had. So we are trying as much as possible to go through the books, go through the mails, go through all the things we have to be able to do all those things for them. So for the people who are getting close, we've reached out to some, and then we are trying very hard to reach the others as well. So please, from the visa booking to filling of the DS-160, to getting all your documentations right and making sure the details and everything on all these forms are right, together with making sure that your I-20 is updated, signed, and then everything is intact, together with your admission letter. With any other thing you have that you have to add with a bank statement, with if you have a sponsor statement or a personal one, with an introductory letter from your institution that you are in, anything at all with the processes and all the details, we help you with it prior to the interview date. And then what normally happens is that we are urging all of you not to be too nervous when it's getting closer. The most important thing is just to get ready and then get the coaching from Dr. Boachi. We try our best to do it with you, but at the same time, he has sessions with everyone who has their dates getting closer. So we'll do it with you, but in the meantime, with the filling of the forms and everything, it doesn't really take long to do. And it doesn't really matter the length for which you are going for the thing. So sometimes you'll get very close, like 2 weeks, and people are very nervous. But we are urging all of you to just calm down. We'll try as much as possible to reach out to you. We'll drop our lines in the chat box whenever you have to reach out to us. The people who had their dates previously, and other people were handling it, please reach out to us. Maybe 1 or 2 staff were handling your application and they are not here at the moment. Please reach out to us. Let us follow up on it for you and try as much as possible to get you sorted out with your documentation and your visa processes. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much, Cornelius. And we would like to also use this opportunity to welcome our colleagues from Liberia, our colleagues from Willie McGill. Thanks for coming. And our brother Victor from Sierra Leone, all the way from Sierra Leone. Victor from Freetown. It's nice to have you here, my brother. We are really excited, and we hope to see you soon. And we thank you for all the things you've been doing for all our clients who have been coming to Sierra Leone, hosting them, giving them a very nice place to stay, feeding them, taking them around, taking them to the embassy to pick their visas. And also, congratulations to Faith, who just picked up their visa, arrived last night from Sierra Leone. Thank you very much, Victor. We truly appreciate all that you're doing for our clients. A lot of our clients have passed through your hands. You've been so wonderful. And also, if you are going for your interview in Sierra Leone, please reach out to us so we can put you in contact with Victor. Victor will pick you up from the airport, all the way from the airport, take you home, make sure he gives you a warm welcome, warm reception, get you food to eat, and make sure that you have settled very nicely. He will drive you all the way from the house to the airport, take you to the Ghanaian restaurant so you can have some Ghanaian food to eat, because most Ghanaians are not used to Sierra Leonean dish. And then same, if you are going to Liberia to our brother, Willie will be willing to do the same thing that Victor is also doing, provide you that wonderful reception and wonderful welcome to the country. So to Victor and Willie, our guys in Liberia and Sierra Leone, respectively. God bless you guys. We truly appreciate you. And I know Cornelius will be meeting you very soon. And we hope to iron all the details out. So if you are here, you already have your I-20 or you are not working with us and you are going for a visa interview in Sierra Leone, please, Victor is your guy. He will be doing all the rounds with you, making sure that you get yourself situated in Sierra Leone and then get back safely. He's very trustworthy. We've given him a lot of money to do a lot of payment for our visa fee payment for us. He's been so wonderful. And to Willie too, thank you very much for all that you're doing for our clients who are coming and our colleagues who are in Liberia, and how you hosted Cornelius. Cornelius has been talking a lot about that. So thank you. Thank you guys. So sorry for that, but let's chip in. Let's go to Isaac. Isaac in Cancer Paper, please. The floor is yours for your questions. We have 15 minutes to go.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. In Ghana, it's good evening, so I'll say good evening. Please, I'm a fresh graduate. I just finished with my national service, and then I'm hoping to get a school in either U.S. or Canada, and I want to find out how best you can help me. I did health information management. I think I once contacted you, but I didn't do follow-up. It's now that I'm being serious because I was doing my national service and then I wanted to finish. So I read health information management, and I'm having a Bachelor of Science, second class upper degree. So I want to know how best you can help me get a school and if probably get a scholarship in either US or Canada.
Yeah. Okay. So Isaac, the health informatics program is something similar to what you did. And it's a very good program here. And I know our brothers Dan can also talk about some of the IT programs and how people are making a lot of money out from it. For you focusing on health and then the information aspect of it, health informatics will be a program that I'll recommend. And you can reach out to the top tier team. That is myself, Cornelius, Charity, Genevieve, Annette. We are all here for you, Erica. We are here for you to make sure that we get everything sorted out for you as soon as possible. So Annette will put my number in the chat box. Reach out to us. She has already put my number there. If you've already reached out to me before, reach out to me. We can have a Zoom meeting, discuss your options, discuss your future goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And then we will see if we need to propose other programs as well, and then we can also take it right from there. But my brother, please, from Vermont, please chip in, and if you want to add anything to it, you can also do so.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. So I'll be contacting. I have your number, so I'll be contacting you. Yeah.
Please do. Please do.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Please, if you are working with us, you've not gotten your admission yet, please reach out to us so that we update all our clients on Fridays. Please, if you don't hear from us on Friday or you are not updated on Friday, please also reach out to us. I know some of you have outstanding applications. Please reach out to us and then we can get everything sorted out for you. Please get your questions coming. You can raise your hand to ask your questions. Please don't be shy. We are here to make sure that every question gets answered. So then someone has a question for you. The question is, what has been your most memorable occasion in the US? What has been your most memorable occasion in the US? Please unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Most memorable occasion. Well, I think maybe for the fun parts, I have not seen a snow before. So kind of my first day of working in, maybe let's call it snow. I don't want to go into detail, but I'm just giving a bit of that experience. You know, if you've not experienced something and it is for the first time, you are walking and all of a sudden snow started falling on you, you know, it's kind of interesting. So I think that is one thing that I was literally laughing because I was working with my professor. So my professor was asking me, why am I laughing? I said, this is my first day of kind of seeing snow and it is falling on me. And she was surprised. Yeah, so yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So another question for you. If we're to choose between US and Canada, which one will be your choice?
This is a very good question. As I mentioned earlier on, like each and every one of us have our specific aims and objectives or what we want to achieve in any endeavor. So you as a person, you know what is good for you and what will help your progression. Some people will find Canada more suitable for them. That doesn't mean Canada too is suitable for you. Some people too might find US more suitable for them, and that doesn't mean you too US is suitable for you. So in all, it all boils down to what you are looking at and what is available to you at any particular moment in time. Because for example, if you are looking for maybe US and you happen to get Canada, you might not want to say that you have to wait till you get US before. You have to kind of capitalize on what is in your hand and what will help you at any point in time. So the choice, I think, as I mentioned earlier on, it largely depends on you and what is available to you at a particular time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So someone is also asking me, please, I have a background in nursing. Can I apply for other courses that is not related to nursing with my certificate? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have currently have a student who is going to study computer science. He's a nurse at the Kwame Nkrumah Teaching Hospital, and he has gotten admission with scholarship to study computer science, bachelor's degree. So yes, it is way possible. It is possible to study. The thing is, when you go, prepare yourself that that question will come. Why are you leaving the nursing field? Why this program, as my brother said? And one of our clients, Vera, who is currently in the US, she is a biostatistician at Kwame Nkrumah, at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, and she diverted to pursue MBA mathematics. So that question also came. So please note that when you are diverting, when you go for the visa interview, that question can also pop up, just so you know. Zidane, you want to add anything?
Yes, but it shouldn't be so kind of different, so much different from what you want to pursue. For example, somebody who is pursuing nursing and you want to maybe go and study IT, you know, nursing is kind of a specific specialty, and IT, it takes some time to build up in that. So even if you are changing, you have to try and make sure that it shouldn't be something so much different from what you are changing into. Because the reason why I'm saying that is, it becomes a problem for you and the school if there is like kind of stark difference between what you have and what you are going to pursue. In all, it should be something relatedly but not much of a difference. For example, somebody studying maybe visual arts, and the person want to study. I'm not saying it's possible, but we are looking at funding and other consideration. So you might want to look at related programs that are very close to what you have as a person. Then you can make that move so that it can increase your chances of getting funding or other advantages. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So another student is asking a question. Please, my question is, which GPA gives full scholarship? Let me touch base on this, and then my brother can also touch on it. We have 4 more questions to go. Please note that GPA alone does not give you scholarship. Research experience, your work experience, your statement of purpose, your CV, which will talk about both your research, which will talk about your work experience. All these things are factored. It's not only even community work. So our 2 of our admission counselors, Annette and Genevieve, were able to get 4 students full scholarship. 2 are going to study MBA, 2 are going to pursue computer science. Even the university requested for their national service certificate to see if they've done anything that will contribute, if they have contributed to their own community. They needed to see any extracurricular activities. So it is not solely based on GPA. Zedan, please, if you want to add your voice to it, or if you want to add something, please feel free. And also, let's educate our brothers and sisters here.
Yes, as you rightly said, a lot of factors determine maybe the success of an application, and GPA is only one part of it. And because it is only one part of it, some schools can categorically say, some schools and some programs might categorically say that they need a minimum of this GPA. And usually they give specifics, but other programs don't do that. But I think where it is important, where you mentioned, is not, sometimes somebody with a lower GPA, which is not as expected, can equally get admission and funding based on several other factors, as you mentioned, experiences like research capabilities and other,
publications, teaching experience,
your
IELTS scores, your mode of communication.
And some programs can also specifically state that they need some tests, in which case, if you don't have it, you just consider yourself out, because they might not even review your application if you don't supply that. When they say they need something like GRE, GMAT, IELTS, whatever they need, if they state it in their admission, even some will say they need worse evaluation. All of these things, if you know you don't meet that criteria, you might just advise yourself very well before you proceed, because usually they look at all those, whether you have checked all those lists before they might even proceed evaluating your documents. So yes, GPA is only one part, and you might have a lower GPA and still have the chances of getting admission and funding.
That is very true. Cornelius can share the experience where he helped the lady with, I think, 2.75 or 2.77 GPA to get full funding. You know, the student had an interview, she really performed well, and then she was able to get the funding. So you are right, someone with a lower GPA, just recently a student with a 2nd class lower had a full scholarship to pursue computer science at the university in Arkansas. So the GPA is part, but that does not determine the entire success of your application. Yes, if you don't have GRE, students who had four of the students who had full scholarship, all the four students, none of them had what do you call it, GMAT or GRE. For the business student, they didn't have GRE. For the computer science student, sorry, the business student did not have GMAT or GRE. The computer science did not have GRE, but they were able to get full funding based on the other documents they submitted as part of the application. So, do applicants to US and Canada need to always have GMAT or GRE score? My brother, did you take the GRE test or was it waived?
I think this question, you have to be very kind of clear in your communication. For example, when you are applying to a particular school, you don't want to assume they will accept your application without GRE, or they will not accept your application without GRE. So my suggestion is that it's very important to clear every doubt from the admission committee, like from the admission office or from your department. Your department can give you the go-ahead to submit your application without any requirement, or the admission office can also give you the go-ahead to submit application without a specific requirement listed. And for the most part, these days, I think because of the COVID, most of these tests are waived for most schools and departments. So it might be stated at a particular department, but they can really consider your application without those tests. So what I usually advise is that when you see they require a test and you don't have, it is a good opportunity to start communicating to the school. Write to the school, will your application be accepted without GRE or this? It's very important, because if you don't have it and you assume they will accept, sometimes they will accept, sometimes not. And in most cases, when you communicate to the school, they will tell you they have waived it. In my case, my English, they require English if you are an international student. But with my case, I was able to communicate with them and they waived it for me, right? So I think communication is very important. You have to communicate to the school, yeah.
Okay, the last two questions. So other people have questions related to what kind of bank statement should I have, my parents' bank statement. I'm having those kind of questions. Please reach out to me. I will vividly explain all of that to you. Some of them are also asking about student loans. Please reach out to me after the webinar. I would answer and then explain that to you. So please. And someone is also asking, please, I'd like to know whether it's mandatory for every student to have the vaccine before interview or enrollment into school.
Okay, this is a very good question. You know, funny enough, in my case, when I was in India, I kind of tried to estimate my departure from India and my arrival in the US. So when I was there, it was during the time that they started the vaccination drive in India. So I estimated that assuming I took the first shot in India, I might miss the second shot in India, because by then I might be out of India. And also, if I take a particular shot in India, maybe I might not get that exact shot in US. So I advise myself, in my case, I'll just wait. When I come to the US, I take my vaccine. So it's completely up to you and how you kind of estimate your departure and arrival time. In my school, it's mandatory to be vaccinated. So when I was communicating to my university about my vaccination status, so they gave me the options available if I arrive, because I told them if I take the first shot, I might not be able to take the second shot whilst in India. They understood. So when I came here, all arrangements were made. I got here and I took my shots. That's all. So there is nothing mandatory about, yeah. But for the test, of course, you have to do the COVID tests. In my case, I did it before boarding the flights and other things. Yeah. I don't know whether it still holds. Yeah.
Right now things have changed.
Yeah.
So when you go for the visa interview, they would even when the visa is approved, one of the things the question is, have you already taken a shot? If you say no, they will say we encourage you to take it before you fly. So please note that they will be asking you those kind of questions. Please note. Okay. So what someone is asking, if he has already taken one shot, can he fly here and take the other shot? Because the person traveled to South Africa and they didn't ask for vaccination card. So should I go for the second shot? Or I would say go for it, because right now it depends on the airline. But most airlines, if you've not taken a full shot within 14 days, you will not be allowed to board a flight.
Okay.
All right, I have my last two questions here and then we can go. My last two questions. Please, can you ask him if he had any form of culture shocks when he arrived?
Well, culture shock. Okay. I think culture definitely the way things are, like, I would say that when we are in Ghana, the way we think US is, we might be surprised to experience it, right? So I would say that there are differences in every context, and here is not an exception. But maybe with time, things might be okay for each and every person. But in my case, I think I experienced a bit of culture shock in terms of interaction. It's like here in the US, for example, they are more of individualistic. Like everybody is on its own. I think last time I was talking to you, you can be with somebody who is very close to you, like you are in the same office, working together, but the next day he can see you and he will not even look at you. You might think he's angry with you or you are fighting with the person, but no, that is how they are. Like everybody mind his own business. Like, yes, everybody is on his own or her own. Yeah. So yeah, some of those things are very common here.
Okay, thank you very much. So the other thing that I also like to add to this is, it is very important for you to understand that the study abroad process is not only for the rich. I don't know if my brother here is coming from a very rich home, but one thing that I can assure you is that it's all about preparations, it's all about mindset, it's all about gathering yourself and then making sure that you've prepared yourself for this journey. Also, we here at Top Tier, we really care for each and everyone. One of the key things that we also want to put across is that if you have a family member, if you have a friend who just came from maybe from Ukraine or Russia, we are also trying to help them. Today, there was a communication from the Hungarian embassy that they are trying to help those students to finish up the education. If you know anyone like that who would like to study in the US, please, as part of our corporate social responsibilities, we also want to do our best to help. Okay, we also want to do our best to help our brothers and sisters who have just come back from Ukraine. We also want to do our best to help them. Cornelius, you've unmuted yourself. Do you want to add anything to it before we end in 5 minutes?
Well, I was actually contributing to the vaccination stuff. Most of the
Okay,
countries
please go ahead.
Africa, yeah, most of the countries now in Africa, especially for those who are going for their interviews in other countries, you know, you may not be too lucky, but sometimes the immigration, they ask you for a vaccination card. So in order to be safe, just get it done before you go there. Yes, because we had, if you remember, we had a particular lady who was flying into America and had hers, I think, very few days to the to the flight, taking off. And then she sat in the, actually she sat in the airplane, and then she was asked to get down and then wait for 7 more days. 7 more days until that kind of day. So it's very important that you do it before your visa so that you have a very free, like you just free yourself of it, because because you'll be flying right now, those things are kind of as almost as obligatory. Like you have to do it before you do it. So to be on the safer side, just do it and be safe. Thank you.
So one of our clients who was flying to the US yesterday was not allowed to board the plane. And Cornelius, I'll share with you into details after the webinar. The student was not allowed to board the flight. The student was allowed to board the flight today, but yesterday he was not allowed to board. Please, COVID test, the COVID shot, please make sure you take it. Please, 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 please. And also, please, if you have questions about the scholarship process, if you have scholarship question about your financial documents you need to present at the interview, please let me know, and so that I can also answer all these questions for you. Please let me know so I can also let you know what you need in terms of going for the interview with proper documentations and correct documentations. Please reach out to us. Reach out to me. Reach out to the Accra Kumasi Liberia office or the Takoradi office. Please reach out to us. We'll be putting the Takoradi details very out soon. Our office in Liberia is fully open, and Mr. Miguel is the one who is going to be who is in charge of the office. If you are here joining us from Liberia, please talk to him, and he will do his best to answer all your questions for you. We truly appreciate you all for joining. We are here, Top Tier Study Abroad Consult. We truly care about your study abroad goals, your study abroad dreams, and your path to study abroad. We also would like to let you know, if you are here and you're about to go for your visa interview, please make sure you reach out to us so that we can let you know all the things you need to do before the D-Day. Also, you have to also contact your admission counselor who is working on your applications, and then they would also let you know the dates that you need to meet with me and the dates that you need to also meet with Cornelius to get all your documents filled, your visa dates, your interview dates, your visa forms, and all the documents to get your civics documents, all the documents you need to go for the interview. We can help you and assist you with it, and get your interview dates, and you get your service receipt, your visa fee payment receipt, so that you can get ready for the visa interview. We truly care, and we thank you so much for today. Next week, we would also be coming to you. This whole Independence month, we will be having a webinar every Sunday. So please stay tuned. And I'll also be coming to you live this week with tips to study abroad. Or what do you want to know when you arrive at the decision to study abroad? We'll be bringing you all this information. I'll be recording the video and I'll be posting it in all our groups. So if you are not in any of our groups, please follow us. Also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube. Please, if you're on YouTube, thank you for joining us via YouTube. We truly appreciate each and everyone that joined us on YouTube, and we will be making sure to answer your questions next time. Today, I don't see any questions from our YouTube channel, but all that we want to say is thank you. God bless you all, and we shall meet next week, and have a beautiful Sunday. And before I go, sorry, Cornelius, do you want to add anything before we go?
Well, yes, it's still about trying to entreat everyone to just contact us with their study abroad processes. I know there are lots of backlogs, lots of people are calling, but I just want everyone to calm down as we are trying to help people navigate through the process. Yes, there are lots of things to do, but please calm down as we try to attend to every single person. Apart from that, all our staff, every single person of our group is always available to answer your questions, to help you with all your processes and everything you need to know. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Cornelius. Top Tier Study Abroad Consult, we hear and we care. Please stay on. All the top tier study abroad staff members, please stay on. Thank you very much for joining, and we will come to you next week. Have a blessed Sunday.